Jeffrey Eggelston, 8th place, 2:11:57 PB. We were just joking on Friday. You said you wanted to run a substantial PR. Well, you got a 6-second PR, but you got to be pretty happy. Top 10 Boston Marathon PR.
PR is a PR, and in this field, I think a top 10 finish is very, very good. And I had another great American to work with Nick out there. We were keen off each other, going back and forth once we fell off that really big group. And so, I'm very pleased that I was able to kind of move up through the race. And I think I ran out of gas a little bit towards the end when we were going under Mass Ave, but they were pretty strong, and stuck my neck out. So.
Yeah. Were you guys kicking at it? You guys were 6 seconds, 10 seconds apart. So
he pulled ahead on just going under Mass Ave before we made the right onto Hartford, and I was digging deep, but it's so tough at that point. There was really no kick today, but it was just I knew I was going to be under 212 if I didn't fall too complacent. So I just tried to keep my legs turning over as much as possible going down the list.
Nick was telling me that there was kind of a game plan among the Americans to kind of have at mile 10 that there was a push, like an American has to win or an American has to be up there. So what was your reaction when you start to see guys like Ryan Hall dictating that pace?
Well, I thought that was status quo for Ryan to be up there and pushing the pace, and that's what I expected. And I also knew, I ran New York last fall, and Med likes to be up there and always kind of have his nose in it. So none of that surprised me. It did surprise me that there wasn't a response to Meb's move, and in fact there was one point, I think probably close to 14 or 15 miles, where there's a lot of chatter, in Emmerich in the group with the Ethiopians saying like, okay, are we going to start moving? And I think even at that point, Ryan, or maybe it was a little bit before that, maybe 20K, Ryan, I moved up past Ryan Hall, but he was looking around and looking at the other Americans to see if we were going to try to start pulling them back in. I didn't realize that was Joseph Boyd at the time, but it kind of didn't surprise me because I know he trains in Mammoth Lakes, and I know there's that connection with Matt. And so I thought they were maybe up to something that was, a move that should be taken seriously. But again, I was just trying to run my own race, and my limits are, right around 450 or 455 pace, and I just tried to stay with the surges of that second group. And when I fell off of it, Nick would go by me on the downhills, and I'd catch back up to him on the uphills, and really just kind of work through the Newton Hills together, or a little bit apart, trying to catch the casualties from the big group.
What was the crowd like?
It was unbelievable. Running Moscow World Championships last year, New York has a great crowd, of course, but it was unbelievable. Unlike any other experience I've had in the marathon. And like I said, I think this is number 14 for me, so that's quite a few. And they were extremely supportive. I might have thrown a few high fives out there in Wellesley. It's hard. You try to control your emotions when you're racing, but there are just so many people out there supporting you. They're calling your name off your bib. Especially when they see Americans, working up at the front, they really want you to do well. And there were some tough points, coming off of Cleveland Circle that were really tough for me. And man, I'm just so lucky from Cleveland Circle all the way to Coolidge Corner. It's just, 2 or 3 deep. And they were just so supportive. They got me through the really tough parts of the race.
What was your reaction to hearing that Meb won?
I mean, part of me is not surprised because that's just Meb being Meb, man. He's a championship runner and he always comes through when it counts. And, as a younger marathoner, that's so very inspiring for me. But also, I was surprised. I mean, it's not like he pulled a rabbit out of a hat, but man, he made the most savvy, move in any marathon I've ever seen. Working with Joseph he ran his own race and it paid off. And, I couldn't be happier for him. And we had 3 Americans in the top 10 today.
Right.
So, I was the 3rd American in 8th. So that's really good for US. It shows us, we're in the right direction in the marathon. So.
So what's next for Jeffrey Eggelston?
Probably a fall marathon, but you know, like I said in my pre-race interviews, I'm kind of scaling back on the number of marathons I'm doing. You know, really going to follow a professional approach and you know, just have a good build up for the next one. It would be great at some point to maybe go for a race and go for a good time. You know, running 2:11 here, it's a challenging course, and you know, maybe I'm hoping for a good personal best at some point, but I'll see what options are out there. Just continue to recover, work on my speed a little bit, and just stay healthy, because that's the most important thing for my career right now. Just stay healthy and get good, consistent training, and you know, I've showed it. So
great. Congratulations.